PAC says it shared 1.1 trillion naira of earnings for December 2023 among federal, state, and local governments. This is 500 billion naira higher than the 1.06 trillion naira shared in November. This increase in revenue shared among three tiers of government is as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy, but people are still bearing the brunt of that removal.
It will be so. And like I've always maintained, what got us here, or the period in which we got to where we are, was not 6 or 8 months. It took us several years. So for us to find our way back to where we were when dollar was 22 naira.
22?
Yeah, because that's from where we got into.
Oh, the last time I remember that
into democracy
during the time of Sani Abacha.
Yes, that was what took us into democracy.
Yeah,
that was what took us into democracy. For us to go back there, which is some 24, 25 years back, then we must be prepared to work very hard. But I also believe in the saying in this part of the country that when the us that is coming behind can study the one in front properly, it should be able to take swifter and faster steps to get to its destination. If we can look at what others have done, there is no rocket science in all of these things. It's just that the pains will be there, no doubt about it. Because when we were going down the slope, and the journey was smoother, because when you are going down a slope, it's usually fun. It's when you are coming up that you have a problem. When we were going down that slope, we were not paying attention. Now to come up, we now need a lot of energy, which we didn't conserve as we enjoyed the journey down the slope. So it's going to take a while, but at least we can see some improvements. It's just, if you ask me, now is the time for us to take to task our governors. You are receiving more money. So what are you doing with it?
Asuko, this is now, are people, it's not as if they are happy with this a high figure, or maybe the federal government is getting more money, or state government and everything. People are talking about impact. If you are going to share 1.3 trillion naira, if you shared 1.3 trillion naira as a result of revenue for December, it's not just hearing that figure, but the impact that this will make in terms of infrastructure, impact in terms of money in their pockets.
No, that is a major thing, because if you have low purchasing power, there's no point. If you just be saying the numbers or the figures, they're 1.1 trillion. And I think the only set of people that will clap hands will be those in the government circles, that they are doing well. But the poor man on the street does not know this figure. His own is, how much is he going to spend to take a bus or take a keke, to the market? And when he gets to the market, how much are the things there for him to buy?
How will transportation not finish my salary?
Exactly.
Not take 50%
because salaries are not going up, but things are going up. Salaries are really, really down. In fact, they are flat. So, for instance,
I bought bottled water. Bottled 150.
150.
As in some places,
something that used to be some
places 200.
250
in supermarkets.
Some places 400, depending on even the traffic is 150 on traffic.
So that are 50 naira is of no value.
So no. It's just like when they say Nigeria used to have kobo. So sometimes I see when there's some people are putting 1 trillion something kobo. When last did you see a coin in Nigeria? So then why are you putting kobo there? Is it just to deceive us? So the thing is, the state government, if you look at this fact now, the 36 states government, including FCT, they are getting about 396 billion, higher than what the federal government is getting. Then the local governments are getting 288 billion plus. And yet, our local government will say they don't have money. I keep saying it. Our local government chairmen, what do they use our monies for? We should start demanding that. Everybody is always talking about Abuja. It's not about Abuja.
Most of them are at the mercy of the state governor.
Okay, fine. Ayo, even if you are the mercy,
share joint accounts.
Good. Even if you are the mercy of your state governor, are you telling me that a state governor, for instance, will not give a local government chairman at least up to 100 million naira?
What are you saying?
But you know what happens at that level
to pay the salary of your workers, and they'll just give you like 10 million naira,
and even
the rest. So that is
even
governors.
There was a time salary goes straight to the workers. It's paid from the center.
So we should start demanding. Let them start talking.
That's what we should be doing.
That was what former President Buhari was trying to do, to get autonomy for this local government.
But they refuse.
The governors refuse.
The governors will refuse because they know that they have to get money from both ends, their own and then the local government. But the thing is, we still have to get them to account for these monies. Even if after their tenure, let them also account for it. Because we can't just allow people are really suffering.
Unfortunately, making them to account for it after their tenure is impossible. Because you know the way our law is. If nobody reports,
the
law says it's as good as the person is free. That's what our law looks like. So if a local government chairman keeps quiet, that the governor says, I've given you this, you've received your allocation.
God has spoken in Ogun State.
That is where I wanted to say. There was one that
he spoke in Ogun State today.
Wale Adedayo.
Yes, he was
today. I don't hear anything.
And the person who took over from him said, I've been receiving allocation.
All is well.
All is well.
So you can't be crying more than the bereaved.
We need to start asking relevant questions.
Yeah, very relevant.
Because the poor woman on the streets or in the market, they don't know the road that leads to Abuja. The only road that they know is the local government chairman. And then from there they know whether it's Alausa or Umaya or maybe Maiduguri. That is the only place they can walk to because it's the closest to them, not Abuja. So we have to start demanding that our local government chairman give us what we need. And our governance is very easy. It depends on how you see it. Because once you give a man or a woman shelter, give electricity, give good roads, they don't demand.
Actually, I have Abubakar from Ida in Kogi State. Oh, we lost Abubakar.
We don't really need much in Nigeria as a citizen, if you look at it. Because all this jackpot is because there's no like that. The people are running. There's no money in the pocket. You want to buy stuff.
There's no employment.
No employment, nothing. If we have all those basics, I'm not sure people will want to say, I want to go out. And if education is free for children and then is affordable for children, nobody will want to want to go to another man's country to go and be, washing dead bodies and all that. So we need to look at all those things.
They funkify it by giving them the name caregivers.
No, of course. You understand.
I'm a caregiver.
So the thing is, our government need to look at it. We Nigerians will have to start demanding. Whenever they bring this fact out, my local government chairman, what are you using your own? How much did they allocate? Oh, it's also okay. What are you doing?
I'm sure some local government chairman will be watching you now. And they'll be looking at you and say, Asukwa, you don't know what.
You don't know what you're saying. It's even at every level of governance that should be asking questions, especially with the governors who hold the states together. Because whether we like it or not, those at the local government level won't be able to talk because they were selected. They were handpicked to be there. So what do they say to the person who handpicked them other than to hail him,
to be loyal, to
and
be grateful,
wait for better and juicier political appointments that will allow them to be their own man and control their own funds? That's what they all wait for. In most cases, they don't even say one word to the governors. Some don't even see the governors. It's worse in the north. When you go to a lot of places in the north, even state executive members, they can't even enter into the governor's lodge without
being
invited. They can't go and meet him. That there is a challenge that they need to.
They are residents in Abuja.
You know that they need to see him. Not to talk of local government chairmen who are far away. So it's whatever they get. So we need to start getting people who can ask questions into power. People who can demand the rights of the people from the leaders. It has gone beyond us just keeping quiet and watching 1.674 billion. These deductions, you know.
I was looking at one of the increases, why we had this number. Is what they call electronic money transfer levy.
I have James from Abuja. James, thank you for staying with us. Go ahead, James.
Hello?
Yes, James.
Hello? Hello?
James, go ahead. Thank you for staying with us.
Yes, I want to contribute.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you very much. Let me first commend you for the topic. Yes, that has to do with the distribution to the 3 tiers of government. Yet, I want to absolutely disagree with Usuko on what he said concerning the local government councils. He seemed not to be in tune with what is truly happening at the local councils level.
Well, tell us your own version.
For a situation where all stakeholders in each of the 704 local governments in Nigeria, educated at whatever level, whether professor in the university, to create time and always come down to the local government and appreciate the enormity of problems with very scarce resources to them at the local government council. It will be sad to note that at the end of this amount you're seeing now, some councils in Nigeria may not go home with up to about 100 million naira, where in some cases their salary is way above 100 million naira. They have other recurrent expenditure to carry out. What is killing this country, I beg to say that our governors, the 36 state governors in Nigeria, are responsible for our underdevelopment. If you look at what is distributed from the fact table, as it is from Abuja, allow this amount go straight to the local government. No matter whatever position you're occupying in this country, the interest is in what happens at your local government area. You'll be amazed. 6 months from this time, you'll be amazed.
Thank you, James. Thank you, James.
It's just what Azuko said, that things are not happening at the local government level.
Yes,
and we've said it here clearly.
The old
governors are holding the local government by the jugular. You can't, as a local government chairman, decide on your own how or prioritize the projects you want to execute in your local government.
Your councillors will impeach you.
Of course.
Of course.
You might have lofty ideas as a local government chairman. You know? If you don't have money, if the governor does not approve, I know that the governors even put a peg and say, no, you cannot sign a certain amount of money.
It's what you are giving.
Can you sign, in a lot of places, you can't even sign any money.
You understand? So if you can't do all those things, how do you want governance to get to the people?
Willie Obiano spoke.
And that's the point you have made very clearly.
His councillors ambushed, they waited for him. He was impeached. Today, the rest
and meanwhile, everybody, like I wanted to say, the EMTL, the government is making money from it. Every month, like you see, your alert, you think it's alert from somebody sending you money, not knowing that government is
the 50 naira, the 2 naira, the 10 naira.
That is it. Now, they said this particular fact you're saying, they made a huge amount of money from it. That is, they even collecting money from us. Yet, what are we getting? Nothing.
And you shouldn't even also forget that the CMR is now yearly.
Yes.
So if you don't do it now quickly,
CMR is yearly.
You are likely to go down for it, to pay penalties.
And don't forget, the state governors at the point that they were pushing for more in terms of revenue allocation.
The sharing formula.
Sharing formula. Yes. Because they discovered that the federal government, that they have the lion's share, that should not be, that the states should be empowered more than the way they
But a lot of us will disagree with that because of this, because of what we have seen.
Yes.
A lot of governors are just there for the show, not for governance. That's what we have seen. A lot of them. So, for me, I don't support that for now.
You give governors more money.
I don't support that for now.
The little one that they are seeing, they are not doing anything. You now want to give them more money. then it means that you won't breed. You'll be buying air to breed.
Okay. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, continue to beam its searchlight on dealings by former governors in this regard. The EFCC has arraigned the immediate past governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano, over allegation of 4 billion naira money laundering. The former governor, who appeared before Justice Ian Ekwo of the Federal High Court, Abuja, was subsequently granted bail. Now, Azuko, this governor was a banker, and after he ruled for 8 years, he checked out of Nigeria. We used to see him. He has a house in the United States, and he relocated back to, Now, from what I read to you yesterday, that a certain amount of 4 billion naira was taken out of the state account, and that amount was taken, and it was taken to the Bureau de Change,
and then
changed to dollars and given back to him in cash. When I saw that, the allegation, part of the allegation leveled against him, I said, these people they finished us. As in, take the money to Bureau de Change, now change it to the dollars to make it handy.
Yes, now so that they can, carry it. That is how we have turned ourselves into, those that we entrust our lives. Because governors are the people that we entrust so many things. Once you go to vote, you know that you are voting this man to make your life better. At the end of the day, you see them still trying to steal from you or making life very difficult for you, And for this former governor, I remember immediately, he handed over. He wanted to run away, and they arrested him. And then the next thing, you saw him wearing bathroom slippers in DSS office, It's just so sad that we are coming to this point whereby people who have good names, in quotes, before, they've turned themselves into people that will have to start arraigning, and then seeing them, facing judges,
So you're saying it's not possible to go through that system and you don't have your hands soiled?
Why not?
It's possible, Ayo. It's possible.
Some people have done it.
The thing is, one thing about people is they need more. When once you have one, you need two, you need three, you need billions. People don't no longer, in Nigeria, what I've noticed is that people no longer want to be comfortable with what they have. They want to have more so that people can see them as gods.
But what they take,
so that they want to turn themselves into teen gods.
In their lifetime?
Yes. They want, in their lifetime, 4 billion. I think it's just this 4 billion that he has.
No, of course.
You think it's
That's
just
just part of the...
Yes, and this is just security vote that they...
No, that is, yes,
just security vote. Don't forget, when he was arrested in 2022, it was about 53 billion of Shopee funds. That was then. So we have not even talked about that case, misappropriation of alleged misappropriation of Shopee funds then, and then this one again. So by the time you start calculating all the, all these things, all these charges against him, you will just find out that these people, is it that Nigerian leaders or politicians are just, once it comes to that, when they get to power, they become mental when it comes to money, Now, you cannot stay in one room.
Okay, the argument by the...
You cannot say more than in one room.
Now, the argument can say this is a security vote. And that security vote, there's this impression that you don't account for it, that nobody will ask you about it. But EFCC is saying that your security vote, you converted it into raw cash.
We've always spoken about this security vote. And you find out that when the states are doing their breakdown of receipts from the Federal Allocation Committee, the security vote carries a huge chunk.
Who determines?
Yeah, that's what we're saying. That it all depends, because we always claim that security is topmost. So, unfortunately, from what we have seen over the years, because we still have some cases in court on this security vote issue, we still have some cases in court, is that the spending of these votes is solely dependent on the governor. That's where the challenge is. It's solely dependent on the governor. So if the governor believes that carrying maybe 500 million or 1 billion voted every month around in Naira won't be good for him, it means he reserves a right to change it into dollar. That's why you find a lot of them, they spend dollar. Even when our economy should be running on Naira. So we need to go back and redefine this thing that we call security vote. We need to redefine it. And on the second aspect, which Asokwa mentioned, I'm still going to say that all of these interventions that we do that are not part of our daily routine of running government, we need to stop it. We still have the case in the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry now. Because of all this, let us quickly intervene. We've seen the way people are handling funds pertaining to this Shopee, Empower, and all the rest. Most of that funds, they end up in the pockets of individuals who ambush the money. They don't get to the poor man on the street eventually. And that's what happened in this case of the Shopee funds. A lot of people just stayed at a checkpoint and they collected the money. Governors, ministers, and all the rest. Civil servants who are put in charge of disbursement. So we need to go back and look at this issue of security votes and talk about it. Because my fear, as in other cases, is that when this man appears in court for about another 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, people become tired of this case. Do we have solid evidence that can nail this case in the next 1 month? Do we have it? Do we want to keep wasting public funds pursuing cases that will not end in 5, 10 years? It's a big question that we must answer. So that once we are not sure of money these people have stolen, it's not as if we should allow them to walk away. But we should not go and spend public fund prosecuting cases that we can't conclude. But some of the governors are still in court. Look at what happened with the election money during the Jonathan era. A lot of it is still in court. Most of them dismissed because they came under political thing. Some of them will say, okay, go and refund this. Go and refund this. But how much of it have we been able to retrieve? Yet our money for education of cases, they keep going up. Ministry of Justice will demand for so much to prosecute. EFCC we need. ICPC we need. Police we need. What do we get out of it at the end of the day? Are we recording losses or we are recording? Yes. You know? Yes, a lot of times. Even the EFCC, they have senior advocates from outside pursuing some of the cases for them. So what do we stand to gain when we begin? That's the question we must ask. Are we going to be able to retrieve this 4 billion naira from this former governor? If it's impossible to retrieve the 4 billion, then why are we embarking on the journey? Because we've seen others end up like that.
Who wrote this petition? Well, Wale from Ikorodu. Thank you for joining us, Wale. Hello, Wale. Wale.
Okay, so this petition was actually, this case was actually instituted by APC chairman, because
in Anambra State.
So he was now looking at this man actually misappropriated these funds, these security votes. So is a party, if you want to look at it, is a citizen of the state. So he has every right to,
yes, he has
to
right.
demand that, okay, how did you spend this money? Yeah. So that people will not say that, what is his own business? No. He lives there.
No. That's the standard procedure.
Yes.
With somebody must
that's,
the EFCC to follow up the case.
So they wrote the petition and EFCC is following it up. So people, whether you want to look at political undertone, that is another side. You understand? But for this one, the man feels that he was affected when he was governor. He had money for him. Yes, he had money for him to protect him, but the man actually used the money for other things.
Yeah.
So it's left for the ex-governor to now come to court and say, well, this is what I actually used the money for. I think, just like Dr. said, we don't need to belabor ourselves over most of these cases. If somebody has been caught stealing, we need to know where this case will end. If you are going to get a chunk from it, let's just do it and get a chunk, and then so that we don't come every day and be talking about so person has been arraigned or not arraigned. 4 billion, okay, sir, go and bring 3.5 billion. Simple. Okay. We don't need for us to be making noise over it.
All right. We'll take this breather. We'll be right back after this hour. Please stay with us.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I am sure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Thank you for staying with us. Still in Anambra State, the sanctity of traditional institutions is being eroded, and efforts must be made to preserve it. The governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, has resolved his differences with the Obi of Onitsha, that's Igwe Nnemeka Achebe, over the dethronement of traditional rulers. To this end, Governor Soludo reinstated the suspended traditional ruler of Neni in Anocha local government area of the states, Igwe Damian Iziani. Other monarchs were forgiven after offering apologies. Asuka, what is this story about?
Well, I don't know if I should call it executive rascality or what, but the thing is, based on the Constitution, it is the governor that has every right, the constitutional right. I think it's even the local government. It's the local government.
Muslims.
So the governor was furious that Igwe Damian actually conferred Senator Ifeanyi Ubah chieftaincy title. And this, don't forget that next year, the battle, all eyes will be straight to Anambra for Governor Soludo's re-election.
Okay.
So, and whether we like or we don't, one of the contenders is Senator Ifeanyi Ubah.
A serial contender.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and now he has left his fringe political party. YPP.
That's gone to the so-called
mainstream political party, which is APC. And from what I've heard so far, he said so many people are already cutting him. They like the fact that he has moved to APC, and the ranks of APC is getting wider and wider. So for this, unfortunately for this traditional ruler, maybe he did not read the political handwriting, of all this, and he decided that, okay, fine, maybe in the past, Ifeanyi Ubah would have done something good for him, and he said, okay, I want to give you a chieftaincy title. Some people have been saying it's not from the same zone. I can get a traditional title from anywhere. So the guy decided, okay, I'm going to give you a title. But the governor did not like that. So
that's Governor Soludo.
Yes, he didn't like it. And then he actually, throned and, the traditional ruler. But it took the intervention of the Obi of Onitsha for that matter to be resolved. And it has been resolved now because close to about 94 monarchs were there when they were discussing the matter. So the import of that is that there's peace now. Ifeanyi Ubah is not a traditional ruler. He doesn't have a chieftaincy title in that particular domain. You understand? He doesn't have that title because they have removed it. They stripped him of that title. So now everybody is now looking at what next. What next now is, will Governor Soludo be able to continue in this way of trying to mend fences, or has he, because with the way it's going now, it's like he has all the traditional rulers to his fold. That is the governor. So you can't just come. If you are my political enemy, nobody will give you a title. And you can't be chief. You can't be senator and chief at the same time. So it's either you are a senator or you are a senator. Don't go come to another place and begin to collect chieftaincy titles. So there is a lot of things that will be happening from now to 2025. Ayo.
What do you think traditional rulers should be, dabble into the murky waters of politics?
Who else gets chieftaincy titles in Nigeria, if not politicians? They are more in number. And you see, like as Okwa said, there is peace. But I would say it's peace of the graveyard that there is. Because when a thing like this happens, and you have, quote and unquote, disgraced a traditional ruler, you cannot say confidently that after reinstating that traditional ruler, he is going to be 100% loyal to you. It can't be. We've seen how politicians even get traditional titles from states where they are not from. And there are so many of them. So I don't see anything wrong in what that traditional ruler did. Maybe like Azokwa said, it was a political miscalculation. But what has that, a traditional title, got to do with your own schemings? What we also need to do, if I were the governor, and if he's a believer in chieftaincy titles, will also be to make demand to give you traditional title too. So everywhere they give the other man traditional title, go there and get your own too. That would be a better way of confronting the situation than entering into that murky water. He didn't do this well. His advisors, they erred completely on this. Ordinarily, as a governor, he's doing well. Anambra has regained some level of goodwill and better outlook in Nigeria now. Despite the killings, at least Soludo has brought something to the table. Its integrity. The state is running well. People are saying, okay, he has impacted here, his impact has been felt here and there. But this one is a minus for him. A big one at that. And I hope it doesn't affect his chances in 2025. Because a lot of times, when we get to the position of politicking, people no longer look at your achievements in terms of, I constructed roads, I did this. No, he did this to this person. So my people won't vote for him.
Okay. Wale from Ikorodu.
So thank you again for connecting me.
All right, Wale.
I was speaking the other time. The problem we have in Nigeria are the governors. Okay? They are the ones that do not allow the local government to perform. We must be sincere. Let TVC do investigative journalism on this. And the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs is the one in charge of local government. The local government chairman cannot even sign anything. All the third-class roads, inner roads that local government are supposed to be doing, they are not doing. They are in a state of comatose. Then, if we want to punish the state government too, let us have joint accounts between the federal government and state government. No, it is unfair.
Yeah, very
the
unfair.
governments are too powerful.
Very
The
unfair.
autonomy granted by President Buhari, the governors frustrated it because they have in their pocket the members of the House of Assembly. Therefore, they frustrated it in 24 states of the Federation. Let's be sincere. We cannot go on like this. We cannot progress like this, and we cannot develop. God bless you.
Thank you, Wale. Thank you for your contribution.
And it's true, because if you look at it,
Our own democracy is even very strange. Go to where we copied the American democracy. The governor doesn't need to see the president for anything.
No, for what?
A lot of governors don't know where White House is. They don't know where it is. So it's always strange when we say we copied something from somewhere, and then you see those people are behaving.
They are running their
a way. They're not the way.
Their local councils will be running their airports.
The busiest airport around the world. That's the one in
Atlanta.
Atlanta. It's owned by the local government. Yes, it's not run by the local government. So what are you talking about? And then I look, but even at that, we should also be wary that if we allow some of these local government chairmen to even have the money, they behave worse.
of course,
than a lot of these.
somebody that was unpicked, how do you want him to behave?
What is wrong with us?
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even know. I don't even know. It's a serious matter.
Because if you look at the structure of this so-called Senate climb and everything, you discover that they have you have airports, they have everything, and they will tell you that it's local council.
Yeah, it's
running
the council.
big.
It's the council, because
Even what about the transport system?
council. It's just ordinary council that
Running well.
Most of this.
You have tram, you have
Some people,
bus service, trains.
If you go to some states, even some councils, if you tell them, you ask them, who is your president? They don't know. But they know who their local government chairman is. They know their sheriff. They know their government.
Yeah, those are the ones that are important to them. They are councillors. They know them.
Sometimes, the president is like a strange.
The one there at the center is far.
Like strange, it's far.
I said years back when Obama was going to win that his election, the man who is governor in Maryland said he has not stepped into the White House in 7 years of being governor. That what does he have to do with the president? Nothing. 7 years, and he's the host of the capital.
Our own, if Mr. President is doing it, they'll be there. They'll be there.
Or even uninvited.
They'll be there.
They are going to Nassau. They say, His Excellency, I just came to say hi to you. That is it. That is one problem that we have here in Nigeria. So they just waste our money because the count accounts for these monies.
Even the number of flights that they do, shuttle to Abuja,
yes,
is enough to light a whole village, to electrify a whole village. In 1 year, what they spend going to Abuja with aids and all the rest.
Wow.
I think back to Governor Soludo and the traditional institution. I think that is why the traditional rulers have been calling for a part in the constitution.
Yeah.
Whereby they will play a major role too. Maybe the National Assembly can also start considering, so that governors do not just talk to them anyhow and treat them anyhow.
Depose them, treat them
at will. These are people who are also custodian of our culture and our tradition, and they are also looking at people. So if we want to give them that major role and respect, I think in the Constitution we also have to write something down for them. It's okay. Yeah. Please,
it should be recognized.
Recognize these people.
This will
yes.
For instance, now I'm wondering what will happen in a place like Kano, where the New Nigeria People's Party says it's looking at the Emirates created by the former governor.
Yeah. It was balkanized.
If you now say you are going to seize, not allow the Emirates to exist again, what happens? There is another problem.
Exactly.
When you did it, there was a problem. So we need to be.
Former Governor Kwakwan, so we have
to be very careful.
Carefully.
Yes, now.
Very careful. Yeah. Very sensitive.
Very sensitive.
Very sensitive.
All right. Now, the trouble on the plateau in north-central Nigeria seems unending. Governor Caleb Mutuan has imposed a 24-hour curfew on the Mangu local government area of Plateau states following the terrorist security situation. The governor's spokesperson, Gian Bere, said the decision was taken after consultation with relevant security agencies to avoid breakdown of law and order in the area. That's since the Christmas killings in this Mongol local government, there's not been peace there.
This one that they declared curfew is just a very funny incident. Just the native and an elder who was just trying, a native who was riding a bike, and then the cattle trying to cross the road, and then altercation. And this one has his own people.
The intention there.
You understand?
So always.
We know that
consistent intention there since that killing.
It is just consistent. This thing is just more about I'm sorry. Most times, from what I've noticed, crises that happened in most of these places, Benue, Plateau, and Co. The word I'm sorry becomes a very big problem.
Ego.
Because from this one, before they declared this, it's just for somebody to just say, okay, your cattle wants to move, okay, pass. Let me, so that I can pass my own. But for them to start arguing and cursing and then trying to throw boxing or fighting on the road, then this one going to tell his people, okay, somebody wants to beat me because I'm not from there. It is always between the indigents and non-indigents. Either farmers and elders. And so I think it was right for the governor to have declared a curfew, because at the end of the day, this small, without saying, okay, sorry, pass, houses were already burnt. People were already killed. Just for small, an altercation that could have just ended in just less than a minute or two. Now, in fact, before coming, our reporter was even we were trying to get our reporter who was already on the field trying to see how they can get this story. He was saying he can't say anything because they were shooting.
Yeah, 30 people dead already.
They were shooting.
Today.
Certain houses are blazed.
Yes. So if you look at this thing, it is. I don't know if they have to declare a state of emergency in this particular local government, not the whole plateau anyway, because this particular one. So I wonder what is always happening to Plateau all the time we keep having this issue. And it is just for us to live in peace, just peace. I don't know why peace is always very difficult on the Plateau.
And that's the home of peace, as we used to.
Yes.
The home of peace.
Plateau that we know that back then, they say whites used to go there because of the weather, but now...
They had a good zoo.
Yeah, zoo. But now you can't even think of it anymore. So the governor has a lot on his plate for him to be able to return peace to the Plateau. It's not just his fault, But the thing is, he needs to talk to people. People need to also understand the governor, that this governor really means well, and he wants to bring peace and development to the state.
Now, my own is about the killers. They calculate the timing and they strike despite the military presence in that area.
Yeah, but like we've always said it here, Plateau is just one of the many states where you have escalation of such crisis. So there is a limit to the number of troops you can even deploy. For instance, the Operation Safe Haven that was carved out of the division, 3 division in Jos, not only covers Plateau, it goes as far as Kaduna and part of Bauchi. So meaning that the number of troops that you can have on ground per time is limited, and there is very little you can do about it. That's why every time I just think about the case in Plateau State, I pity the governor, because I can imagine what will be going through his mind. And these guys who are causing these problems are not people that the police or the civil defense can easily deal with. They require the kind of arms that the military or the DSS, Department of State Services, that they bear. So, and unfortunately for the governor also, which will require for him to be very careful, is from that area. So any move that he makes, politics will be read into it. He wants to wipe out these other people. He wants to do this. So a lot of times I just sit back and I say, what will be going through the mind of this man with all these hostilities? Well, like I said, what we need to do is to start working on the minds of our people, to start working on their hearts, so that they can begin to have a rethink. You know, we've had herdsmen, we've had farmers existing, cohabiting side by side from time all over the country. Why did we get to this part, to this sorry state where it has now become impossible for the two to cohabit, to exist side by side? Why have we gotten to a point where herdsmen have to start bearing arms? Those are the things we have to begin to look at. Because if you go to some areas in the southwest, you still have farmers and herdsmen and herders cohabiting. It's just a matter of knowing how far you have to go. In the past, we've had situation where the herdsman will come and say, okay, you take 2 cows, give me cassava to feed the others with. Not that you take your cows and you just push them onto somebody's farm. So we have a lot, we need to go back to reorientation so that people will know that where your right starts is where somebody else's own also starts. And where yours ends is where somebody else's own also ends. Not this perpetual confrontation. Because if Plateau continues like this,
no, it's not good.
It's not just only for the economy of the state. It also affects the whole country. Because there are some products, some farm produce, that you have the best of them from Plateau State. And a lot of them. Just the same thing with Benue. If you are talking of yam in Nigeria, you go to Benue. You talk of mango, it's Benue. You talk of maize, it's Benue. And then you can go to Plateau and you get the best of
Irish
potato, which you can't find elsewhere in the country. So we need to begin to look at these things holistically and address them so that all of these confrontations can stop. If we don't stop it, the country will continue to be the loser.
It's not even good for us because that state has been in crisis for some time. I think it's time to embrace peace.
For years, I don't know, but I think it's time for serious mind reconstruction amongst the people there on the need for them to live together. And that mind reconstruction is telling them that, fine, if there is peace, they can, get rapid development. And not just rapid, but at least there will be money in their pockets. Because most of them are farmers. Look at what they are doing. Farming and then herding, as in their herders. So if, for instance, we pass that information to them and see how, whether is we want to bring, what is it called, Ruga, the so-called Ruga that they wanted to do then. But now we are going to, modernize it, which this government, had, promised. Tell them things that they will be able to listen to, and so that there won't be issues. Because right now, we need peace in the Plateau. And I was just looking at, okay, what about the Nigeria Orientation Agency? Trying to also drum, desensitization in the ears of people, especially spending time in the Plateau and Benue and even Kaduna. Spending time there, sensitizing people on the need for them to stay together. Because these are the flash points in the North Central. where people just, once anybody is angry, they will just take up arms and
begin to fight.
Fight and kill people. So it is the NOA can push their sensitization team to these 3 states.
That's the National Orientation
Agency. Orientation Agency.
Led by Malam
Isa Oniru. Go there, talk to them, speak the language you understand. The language shouldn't be everything. It shouldn't be about money, but words that can heal. There are words that can heal, and then the compromises will be made, and that the compromises will now come from the state government, who will make those compromises. And people will also make. And once they see that government has that, that will, that political will for there to be peace, people would respect whatever they are saying. Because as it stands now, Ayo, I'm just afraid. Because every day you wake up in the morning, you don't even know what you will hear, things like that.
It's unpredictable.
So it's just so unpredictable.
Can even imagine the number of prominent people they've lost.
Exactly.
In that state, number, including generals. And Plateau State had some of the finest generals. Plateau and Benue we've had in this country, especially Plateau. That axis, the middle belt, some part of the
Jeremiah,
Dogoyaro, so many of them. So people need to begin to think again, to reconstruct their minds, like I put it, so that we don't get to a point where there will be no return. Because they will get to a point where things will just degenerate completely. And it will be going to conflagration like Sudan and all the rest. Because all these things started in a minor manner.
Yes, exactly.
Then escalated. So we need to be careful.
All right. I want to thank you, Dr. Oladipo. Asuko James, thank you for your contribution.
Thank you so much.
And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. Join us this Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Every second, every minute, every hour, and every day, time doesn't just tick away. It's a countdown to political decisions that shape our world.
This country must move.
Imagine the impact these decisions have on our lives. Some are consequential, others may leave us intrigued or baffled.
You will have no better friend and partner than Nigeria.
Step in and feel the frenzy like never before. Join me every weekday for an hour of fact-finding interviews where questions cut to the core.
What does Tinubu has that other 17 candidates do not have?
I will dig in to get to the heart of issues, from local politics to global insight. Join me as I unearth the power plays, jaw-dropping revelations, and the unfiltered truth. This isn't just politics, it's unraveling the stories that matter. Brace yourself for Politics Tonight every weekday at 8 p.m., where every decision echoes along the corridors of our lives. Politics Tonight, only on TVC News.
Muhammad Ali was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky on January 17, 1942. His birth name was Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. He began training as an amateur boxer at age 12, and at 18 he won a gold medal in the light heavyweight division at the 1960 Summer Olympics and turned professional later that year. In his early years as a professional, Clay was more highly regarded for his charm and personality than for his ring skills. He sought to raise public interest in his fights by reading childlike poetry and spouting self-descriptive phrases like float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. On February 25, 1964, at age 22, he pulled off a major upset, defeating Sonny Liston to win the World Heavyweight Championship. That same year, he shocked the boxing establishment again by denouncing his birth name as a slave name and formally took the name Muhammad Ali, which was given to him by his spiritual mentor Elijah Muhammad, leader of the Nation of Islam. For the next 3 years, Ali dominated the boxing arena. Muhammad Ali retired from boxing in 1981 and focused on his religion, philanthropy, and activism. In 1984, he made public his diagnosis of Parkinson's syndrome, which some reports attributed to boxing-related injuries, though he and his specialist physicians disputed this. He remained an active public figure globally, but in his later years made fewer public appearances as his condition worsened and he was cared for by his family. Ali was chosen to light the Olympic flame at the start of the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta, Georgia. He died on June 3rd, 2016.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
From the valleys through the hills and riverbanks of Kogi State, we bring you update on the developmental and economic activities of the Kogi State government under the leadership of Governor Yahaya Adoza Bello on Confluence State today. From road construction to infrastructure, health and human capital development, we take you on a journey around the 21 local government areas of Kogi State on Confluence State today. Kogi State is moving forward. Our people are enjoying the true dividends of democracy. Confluence State today, showing at this time.
Welcome to the transformative journey of Gombe State. Like a beautiful bride in the savannah, Gombe State is steadily growing to become a commercial and investment hub with accelerated development of world-class infrastructure, quality education, and healthcare. The jewel in the savannah, under the visionary leadership of Governor Inuwa Yahaya, is taking giant strides in the quest to making Gombe State a paradise in Nigeria's northeast region. Join us on this adventure every Thursday by 3:30 p.m. as we explore Gombe's transformative journey to greatness.
Thanks for joining us on the program Beyond 100 Days. I am Abosede Adenio Aderemi. You can join the conversation now on X, formerly Twitter, using the hashtag Beyond 100 Days. And remember to tag TVC News NG. President Bola Tinubu has departed Abuja for Paris, France, on a private visit. The president's trip was announced in a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale. Mr. Ngelale mentions that President Tinubu will return to the country in the first week of February. President Tinubu held a bilateral meeting with the United States Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, at the presidential villa, Abuja, on Tuesday evening. The last time he traveled outside the country was to attend the 28th United Nations Climate Change Conference in Dubai last December. Now, staying on the visit of the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken to Nigeria. Mr. Blinken arrived in Nigeria at 4:40 p.m. on Tuesday and met with President Tinubu at the presidential villa. After his arrival in Lagos last night, the U.S. Secretary of State inaugurated the American Corner in Lekki. That was earlier today. The American Corner is an innovative and tech-enabled American space in Lagos to support youth innovation, entrepreneurship, and creativity. The technology hub supports the Biden administration's U.S. strategy toward sub-Saharan Africa's goal to drive digital transformation and foster an inclusive digital ecosystem.
The future really is with Africa. It's no secret to anyone that in the coming years, 1 in 4 inhabitants of this planet will be from this continent. And so we would ignore Africa at our peril. But we also see the incredible power in these partnerships in actually solving problems together. And when we're thinking about Africa, Nigeria has to be front and center. The largest country, the largest economy, the largest democracy. It is a natural partner for the United States. And as we're looking at what we're doing together, trying to address the climate crisis that's affecting all of us in different ways, developing artificial intelligence for good, accelerating inclusive economic growth.
But I think most fundamental of what we're doing, it's not just the fund, it's strengthening the digital ecosystem. If the backbone for digital ecosystem is strengthened, entrepreneurs will be able to build businesses that will scale sustainably, which is why as a government we're investing significantly in our digital backbone, which is the fiber optic cable network in the country. We want to ensure that the entire network for the country is fully covered, because once that is covered, every part of the country is then part of that digital economy. We're also investing significantly in talent. We want Nigeria to become the destination for technology talent in the world.